Every business needs content in order to succeed. It doesn't matter if you just started your business or if you've been in business for over 20 years. But figuring out how to market your content can be a little bit difficult. There's so many platforms to use and so many different types of content that you could post. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you everything that you need to know when it comes down to content marketing so that you can start producing content to boost your business. So when it comes to content marketing, a lot of people avoid it because maybe they're stuck in their old ways or they don't know how to post. And the problem is that this causes them to miss out on thousands and thousands of customers and potential customers that want to do business with them. So what they need to do is they need to understand the power of content marketing. We need to realize that 80% of people are spending hours and hours on their phones on these different content platforms, and we have the ability to reach them with our message, with our product, with our service. And if we do this correctly, we will crush. So the real reasons behind content marketing is one, the best known beats the best. Back in the day, it was cool to advertise on newspapers or just rely on word of mouth, but the ability to reach thousands, if not millions at scale through content has now become a real thing. And now we can do everything from the power of our phone and reach thousands, if not millions of customers from our phones. And the reality is it's not always the best person that's crushing it when it comes to business. It's the best known person. And if we can become the best known in our niche, in our business, whatever we're doing, then we will grow our business. It's a simple equation. If more people know who you are and know what you do, they're going to want to do business with you. The second thing is again, like the old way. When it comes to the old way of marketing, we used to rely on word of mouth. I used to be the guy who would go to marketing events to try to be seen and market my business from an in-person perspective. The problem with this is that it just wasn't scalable for me, and it really relied on me showing face to everything. Once I started adapting the strategies that I'm going to share with you today, that's when I was able to grow my business significantly, not have to waste a lot of time at events and scale without me having to put too much time in it. Because again, if I make a post and it reaches 1,000 people, how much time do I have to spend doing old way of marketing or old way of trying to get clients to reach the same amount of people? It's going to be a ridiculous amount of time, which is going to end up just being a waste of time. And the last thing that I want to talk about from a content marketing perspective is that it scales trust. We are in the day and age where people work with who they know, like, and trust. When social media, when content marketing first became a thing, it was cool. Who's going the most viral? Who has the most followers? Who's just posting? Who's active on social media? And then as content marketing became more saturated, we became more exposed to a lot of different ads, a lot of different people, and a lot of people probably selling with the same service and product. So what we want to do with content marketing is we want to use it to build trust with our customers. I work with who I know, like, and trust. If I'm going to do business with someone, I'm going to check out their social media and I'm going to scroll through it. Likely your customers are doing the same. And we need to ask ourselves, cool, if I'm a potential customer of my business and I go on my social media platforms, what am I going to see? Am I going to be trusted? Am I going to look like an industry expert? Or am I just going to be another person blending in? Or am I just not going to have any content and not going to build trust with my customers? So we need to understand the power of content marketing is not just cool, it's going to make you look awesome, but it's going to impact your business drastically if done right. First thing that I want to talk about is long form content. So long form content is YouTube. YouTube is the second most trafficked website behind Google. If I'm looking for a service or a product or information, yeah, I'll go to Google, but what's probably going to pop up on the first couple search results is going to be YouTube videos. Also going to go on YouTube to see how-to guides. I'm going to look for resources. I'm going to look for trainings on how I can improve in a specific skill set that I want to improve on. And when I watch these videos, they're likely going to be over a 60-second clip like what you'd get on Instagram or YouTube Shorts, and I'm going to be bought into that information. I'm going to be present with that information if in fact I do want to learn. Knowing this, we need to realize that our customers are doing the same thing. We have the ability to be on the other side of that, on the receiving end, with our product and with our service and what we're offering to our customers. I love long form content because it builds trust with people. People are going to watch a 5-10 minute video of you explaining something or of your life, and it's a lot more teaching based, a lot more organic, and somebody is invested into that video. And rather than it just being a 60-second clip, people are going to be invested in what you are going to be saying. They're going to hopefully follow what you're going to say. And we've had a lot of success from YouTube as a result of just the trust factor. The second thing is that it's evergreen. That means that if I go on YouTube and I made a video 2 years ago talking about how to grow your agency and somebody searches how to grow your agency, my video is still going to be there. Unlike other platforms, the content just disappears and doesn't have much of a shelf life, but with YouTube, it can last forever. And the final reason that I really like long form content is that people have to go to you. People are choosing to watch your content. This means that unlike short form content where the content comes to you and it's more entertainment value and more like a little quick hit, I'm making the choice that I'm going to click on this piece of content to watch this piece of content to get something from that piece of content. This is going to do all things that I just talked about, which is to build trust with people and increase the likelihood of them to trust you, which then increases the likelihood of them doing business with you. So how do we get going with long form content? How do we actually crush it with long form content when it comes to building your brand, when it comes to monetizing your content, when it comes to getting more clients? The first thing that we need to do is we need to define our niche. What we don't want to do is we don't want to be talking to 5 different avatars with 5 different pain points with 5 different desired outcomes. What we want to be really laser focused on is the who. Who is it that we're working with? What I like to think about is like, who is my ideal customer? Where are they hanging out? What is it that they're struggling with? What are their desires? I want to be able to answer all of that so that I can speak to them when I'm actually creating content. For example, what I just want to answer is like, who is the ideal customer? Pain. What are their pain points? What are they struggling with? What's keeping them up at night? Likely, if you're doing anything in the service-based business, like an agency, it's going to be they're struggling with leads, struggling to get business, or struggling to become more known. And then when it comes to outcomes, what are their desired outcomes? What does that look like? They want to predictably grow their business through content marketing. They want to predictably get new clients online. We want to know what they struggle with so we can talk to those struggles inside of our content. We want to know what they desire so we can speak to those desires in our outcome and make sure that what we're actually offering from a monetization perspective is solving the pain and creating the outcomes. So we really need to define and get really clear on who it is that we're working with, because if we're speaking to everybody, we are speaking to nobody, and people are going to bounce out of your long form content. They're going to be confused, and ultimately it's going to be a net negative for you. How do you serve them? What is your offer? Well, we need to also make sure is like, cool, why are we creating content? What is the purpose of it? It's not to just potentially educate somebody, but it's to educate them so that they build trust with you, so that they want to do business with you. And if we know the pain, if we know the outcomes, and we have an actual offer to serve them, then we can speak to that in the content, and that will increase the likelihood of them wanting to do business with us. When it comes to topics on YouTube, one of the most important parts of YouTube is, let's just say we help online coaches get new clients using our social media funnel strategy. What we want to do is we want to figure out, what can I even talk about to help these online coaches? What can I talk about that these online coaches might be searching for? What are the pains that they have that they might be searching for YouTube? And what we want to make sure is, with the volume of videos that are going on YouTube, that we are being found for the people that we want to be found for. The real thing that we need to do when it comes to topics is we need to research YouTube. We need to figure out what's doing what. And when I'm researching YouTube, I'm going to go through like the title, I'm going to go through the thumbnail, packaging, basically just copy the winning ideas. So if we go to the example of I help coaches scale their business, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find how to get leads as an online coach. And I'm going to start doing research and figure out what's working really well. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for the videos that have 93,000 views. That's a pretty outlier video for this guy. 62,000 views, 128,000 views. I'm going to start looking at these videos and trying to find videos that are in line with my niche and that are performing extremely well. Use ChatGPT to generate over 40,000 leads per month. Grow online coaching business. I'm going to start just searching and doing online research and figure out like what is showing up on the videos that I'm doing. So click on this one. What I can do is I can click on it and I can say the most scalable online coaching fitness business model. Maybe I help online fitness coaches, or maybe I help coaches. I can use this title, the most easily scalable Instagram coaching business model. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to the right. How to start a coaching business in 24 hours. 7.7 thousand views, etc., etc. Online business coaching business. 23,000 views. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this title, how to start a coaching business in 2024. Maybe that's something that we could serve with. Maybe our customers aren't beginners, so I want to serve more how to go from $20,000 to $100,000 in 2024. Scaling a nearly 6-figure online coaching business in 60 days. That's a great formula. The new way to grow a coaching business, not a lot of views. How to start a one-person coaching business. One-person business starting with $0. Killer. 749,000 views. How could I make this my own? How could I use that title? How could I use this thumbnail in my own framework? And then what I could do is I could watch the video and I could come up with the framework of what she's doing and replicate that. How to start your first business in 48 hours. Okay, 930,000 views. How to scale your online coaching business in 48 hours. If I wanted to scale my coaching business in 2024, I would do this. So what I'm going to begin to do is I'm going to observe the title, thumbnail, packaging. I'm going to bulk ideate and create a system for myself. So what we can easily do is we can create like a database inside of a tool like Notion, and we can basically do all of our research and we can say how to grow your online business in 2024. If I wanted to scale my coaching business in 2024, I'd do this. And what I'm going to do is I can simply open this up and I can copy the reference video for each video that I'm referencing so that when I go to make the video, when I go to edit the video, I can use this as a reference point so that I'm just spending time bulk ideating all my content. So that was how we find winning topics. Next is scripting. The reality is that scripting is king. We call this packaging. How are you packaging this video? How are you keeping the viewers engaged in the video so that they continue to watch the video from the first 5 seconds to the very end of the video? And it's not the editing style, it's not your title, it's how you're packaging the video and how you're scripting the content in your video so that you can actually make it good and appealing to your viewers. So there's really 3 points that I want to go through when it comes to YouTube and how to crush on YouTube. The first is going to be the hook. The hook is the first 1 to 2 minutes of your YouTube video that's going to explain exactly what you're doing inside of the video. Will give the viewers a sense of what they can expect from the video that you're going to be creating for them. I like to leverage ChatGPT just to give me some ideas, just to give me some reference points. What I like to do from a hook perspective is I'm going to break down exactly how to blank, blank, blank. I've used this very protocol to achieve this. This will help you overcome pain point 1. This will help you overcome pain point 2. This will help you overcome pain point 3 without having to old way of doing things. It's the same way that we used to help blank, blank, blank go from pain to outcome. It's the same thing that we used to help blank, blank, blank go to pain to outcome. Let's get into it. Knowing this as like the hook framework as an example, what we can do is we can simply go to ChatGPT. We can use this as a hook example. So what we can say is we can say, my ideal customer is content agencies. I've been able to achieve using this framework, scaling hours to over 200K a month. What my clients used to do is rely on word of mouth, have no systems, get bogged down, working in their business, be a glorified freelancer. Top pain points I help them solve is predictable clients, systems that run the business, become a CEO, build a business they like. Their ideal desired situation is become a true CEO in their agency, not be bogged down, have systems in place. If I hit enter, what this will do is it will write me a script for the hook. And this is just a guide. You could use it word by word if we wanted to, but let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. So that is how we convictly create a really solid hook that will hook the viewer into it, and using ChatGPT to do it. And unlike like short form content, this will be a little bit longer of a hook. And when it comes to the hook, we want to make sure like we're doing our work to actually fulfill on the promise of the hook in the title and actually give the sauce, which leads me to my next point, which is really the meat of the content. What I see a lot of people when it comes to YouTube is they don't really have like a format or a formula for communicating on YouTube. And what happens is they begin to ramble, they lose people, they're not communicating. Like to me, scripting and copywriting is the most important thing, because the problem if we don't have something like this is that the viewers are going to bounce out. They're not going to understand what you're actually trying to communicate, and you're not going to get what you are creating content for, which is engagement and more views and more business. So the format that I like to do once I do the hook is basically come up with the different teaching points. So for example, if my content idea is, if I were to start an online coaching business in 2024, this is what I would do. Then what I would come up with is I would come up with, cool, what are the 3, 5, 7, 10 points that I can come up with to communicate what those steps are essentially. And when it comes to the format, what I like to do is I like to use the format of situation, problem, implication, and then I teach. And then I sell the next point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out my hook. And then for the meat, I'm going to come up with the points. So point 1, get a good offer. Blank, 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 blank. Point 3, blank, 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 blank. And then for each point, as I'm planning these, as I'm doing my pre-production on the titles, I'm going to communicate each point using this format of the situation, the problem, the implication, and then I'm going to teach. I'm going to spend time teaching what they should be doing if I were to scale an agency, or what I would be doing if I were to scale an agency or a coaching business in 2024. So for example, if the point number 1 is get a good offer. So many coaches and consultants have a crappy offer and they're not getting as many clients as they want because they don't actually have an offer that is irresistible to their customers. The problem with this is that this leads to confusing the customer, and they're never going to do business with you because it's not actually solving the problem that your customers have. And this leads to you just feeling down on your business and contemplating probably even quitting. Instead, what we need to do is we need to come up with an irresistible offer. And how to do this is blank. And then we teach. Simply use a ChatGPT prompt like this and kind of just like ramble a little bit, and this will help you from like a teaching perspective. But we want to make sure we are teaching like the meat, the points, the stuff that we actually know. And this should come a lot easier for you if you can memorize, if you can practice this framework inside of the content. It's going to really draw the people in. This is called the SPIN framework. There's a very famous book that teaches this model, and it's what we model in YouTube videos to communicate and relate to the customers and then provide a really clear solution to them. So with the points, what we want to do is we basically want to repeat this for every single point. So if you have 10 points, do this 10 times. And then after each point, we want to just basically sell the next point. But the truth is the offer is only going to work if you have the next point, which is blank. Consistent leads. So many coaches suck at getting consistent leads, and the problem is it's feast and famine, blah, 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 blah. And this leads to doubting yourself and you working harder than you have to. Instead, here's the predictable lead generation system that I would build if I were starting a coaching business. And lastly, this is simply the call to action. So that's the full blueprint on how to grow your coaching business in 2024 for online coaching. This is exactly who I help implement this system for. And yes, you could totally figure out how to do this on your own, but the amount of time that it would take you and the number of mistakes that you'd stumble through can make it difficult to find success. You may just fall flat and give up. So if you want to achieve desired outcome and buy back your time, come up with your irresistible offer, predictably get new leads, and click the link in the description to learn more. That's like a call to action framework that you can use to point people to the call to action, which would be hopefully be book a call or do business with you in some way, shape, or form. So once we have the niche defined, the topics dialed in, we have the script dialed in, next is filming the video. So when it comes to filming the video, the number one thing that I like to share when it comes to filming is it's not necessarily how fancy your camera is. It's not necessarily all of that. The key is going to be conviction. When I first started filming my videos, I was so awkward. If I look back on my videos, I was shy. I didn't really have much enthusiasm. And what happened is that it looked really bad on camera because I was more monotone. I was kind of like, yeah, here's 3 reasons why you should blank, blank, blank. What we need to remember is like have a shot of freaking espresso beforehand, whatever that is for you, that's going to get you hyped up before the video, because the more animated, the more convicted that you are in what you're talking about, that's going to be felt through the screen. And then the customer is going to trust you and they're going to believe what you're saying, which hopefully you should believe what you're saying as well, but it's going to communicate that through your video. Also, like do chunks at a time or use a teleprompter to help you. A lot of people, when it comes to scripting, will like think they have to memorize this huge script and be like, oh my gosh, I got to do this all in one take. And if I fail, I need to start from the top, and that ends up taking 5 hours to do the video. You could even film a sentence at a time, or like 1 to 2 sentences at a time, because when we go to edit the video, we can chop out the blank spaces. So I would focus on, if it's just your first time doing it or beginner, be really convicted on your first couple of sentences and then go move on to the next sentence. And then when editing, we can cut out all the bad parts. Alternatively, you can use a teleprompter to help you, and you can just simply copy and paste your script into it and you'll be dialed in. Lastly, focus on lighting and audio. So I like the DJI mic, or I have a Shure MV7, which is really solid when it comes to audio, because that will provide a better experience for the viewers. And then when it comes to lighting, don't try to get your view and have a window behind you, because you're ultimately going to be dark. It's pretty simple to do. Just use natural light, have the natural light face you, or you can purchase lights out there that will help you from a lighting perspective, but that will make a massive difference as well for the viewing experience, which will keep them watching. After we film the video, now what we need to do is edit the video. A lot of people get bogged down on is simply editing. I'm not an editor. I don't know how to use all these fancy tools. Like there's so many different ways to edit these videos. I got to hire an editor. I got to find an editor. I got to train them. I got to make sure that it's legit. And it's like, yeah, that's a way. But today's day and age, there's AI editing. There's tools out there that can drastically expedite our editing process, so we don't have to be bogged down editing the video. If we look at all of these steps, the most time consuming step is going to be the editing. And the reality is you, if you're a business owner and you're doing this yourself, you shouldn't have to be bogged down doing this for you. You should find a better way to do this, which to me is going to be using a tool like Submagic. Submagic is an AI tool that will allow you to edit your videos literally in a few clicks. So if I go to my projects, if I go to new video, what I can do is I can simply upload my YouTube video inside of Submagic. I can change the language if I wanted to, and all I have to do is click upload. After it uploads, what I can do is I can pop this thing open, and like what we said from like the trimming the dead space perspective, like we can look at all of the space where there's no talking, and I can just simply edit that out, and I can remove that. I can simply edit this out. Cool. If there's dead space right here, I can split this. I can remove all of the dead space inside of the video, and I can find the best clips that will make it flow the best. And then when I go to edit the video, what's automatically going to happen is the most important part of the video, which is the captions. 85% of videos are watched without sound. And with YouTube, we need to make sure we have captions on as well so that we can communicate what we are communicating. And the beautiful thing is it's all done for us inside of SubMagic. So all I need to do is just choose my style. So let's just say I wanted Celine. Then I can change the size of it if I wanted to. I can move the position up. Cool. I can change the color if I wanted to. And if I wanted to also add more things that make the video amazing, like sound design, I could add clicks on each sound. I could add dings. I could add a hit. I could do a riser, whatever it could be. If I also wanted to add in some like B-roll, I can like switch this up. I can add like a transition if I wanted to, like a film burn transition. Beautiful. If I wanted to add any B-roll, I can simply click here and I could do YouTube. I can click on that. I could apply it. If I wanted to split this up, I could split this into a new line, and I could split this up even further. Pretty easy to do. And all I have to do is just click on export, and I can export the video in 4K. That took me less than 5 minutes to pretty much edit this video. Obviously, yours is probably gonna be a little bit longer, but you don't have to be skilled. You don't have to waste a bunch of time when it comes to editing your videos when you have a tool like SubMagic to do it for you, leveraging AI. And after we edit the video and export it, what we want to do is we want to create a good thumbnail design. So what I would do is I would just go to Canva, and then inside of Canva, what we can do is we can do thumbnail. We can search Canva templates, and there's hundreds of Canva templates that we can choose from to create our own YouTube thumbnail. In addition, what we can do for thumbnails is we can go to Fiverr and we can hire a freelance graphic designer to help us create a thumbnail. So if I go to thumbnail, there'll be hundreds of people that you can choose from to make your YouTube thumbnail as well. Next comes posting it, and I would try to aim for maybe 1 to 4 times a month on YouTube, depending on your niche, depending on your offer. If your offer is really heavy on YouTube, then you could up the volume. If you get a really good system for this, and if this is efficient for you, then you can also find a team to help support. And then as you scale, you can find someone to help you with filming, find someone to help you with editing, find someone to help you with thumbnails on, find someone to help you with the posting, find someone to help you with the topic and the strategy. But what we need to do is we just need to create the system and have the system dialed in. And then what we can begin to do is we can scale this by hiring people to help us out for this. That is long form content, and long form content is a powerful tool, as I mentioned. But what we don't want to also neglect is short form content, because there are hundreds of millions of people leveraging short form content. And I personally use short form content quite a bit to build the trust with our customers. And we've had a ton of success with growing our business, leveraging short form content, because there are so many people on it. If I'm in the elevator, if I'm trying to kill time, if I'm relaxing, I'm not going to go to YouTube to watch a video. I'm going to go on short form content. I'm going to see what my friends are up to. I'm going to go through my explore page. And the beautiful thing with the algorithm of short form content is it's going to show your content to people who are searching for something similar to what you actually do. Let's just say I make a lot of content on how to grow your coaching business or how to grow your agency. If someone is searching how to grow your agency on Instagram, they're following a lot of accounts that talk about how to grow your agency, they're searching on Google how to grow your agency, guess what's going to start showing up in their Instagram feed? How to grow your agency. And if I can create content for that, then I'm going to be placed in front of those ideal customers. And what they're going to do is they're going to follow and be able to really get an inside look inside of our life. And again, we've gotten hundreds of thousands, if not 7 figures, just simply from our short form content. It is a great tool. It's a great way to grow our business if done correctly. So why short form content? Like, one, it's going to humanize your brand. For us, it's oftentimes like a guide, a long form piece of content. But like with Instagram, I could post stories. Cool. I like running. I like cycling. I like triathlons. Cool. That's going to humanize me, which is going to do what? It's going to build trust, which is what we want with our customers, because that's how people make buying decisions these days, is they work with who they like and who they trust. And we can humanize our brand through that. High traffic. There are so many users on social media and they're doing this. And again, if we're working the algorithm, if we're speaking, if we're really clear on a niche and who we're talking to, we can get in front of those people from our traffic perspective. It makes us omnipresent. Okay. It's easy to be found. Like, everybody's on Instagram. Like, we'll be able to show up everywhere when it comes to short form content, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And then lastly, it scales trust. All this is the common denominator, which is what we want to do as business owners with content marketing, is to scale trust, which is going to increase the likelihood of them actually doing business with us. So similar framework to short form content, but a little bit different when it comes to actually executing this to crush for your business. The first things first is we want to define our niche. Who is it we work with? How do we serve them? What's our offer? Talked about this when it comes to long form content, but now with the short form content, same thing from like the algorithm perspective, is like, who are we speaking to? What is our ideal customer? Because if we're going to create content and we want the algorithm to work work in our favor. We want to create content that our customers are actually searching for and that they're interested in, so that we can pop up when they actually are being seen and being found and searching on social media, and they're scrolling through their feed, whatever it could be, because we want to make sure that we're speaking to our ideal customer. Then when it comes to topics, it's a little bit similar, but a little bit different. There's a few ways to come up with an endless amount of ideas and topics. First thing is going to be research. All we have to do is we can just go to Instagram and we can begin to look at the winning formula of content. We can start scrolling our feed and seeing what's doing well. We can look at competitors in the space and see like what they're doing from a perspective of content creation. Obviously, your algorithm will be different than mine, but look at what people are doing and start to emulate it, just like as we did with YouTube. Look at your competitors, look at the formats that people are doing, figure out how they're executing this so that we can replicate it and make sure that it is in fact a winning formula. The other thing is simply go on TikTok. So if I go on TikTok and I go to my explore page and I just simply type in something like scaling online coaching business, I can go to the top videos. I can see what's actually doing well. If that's our niche, 9,000 views, 162,000 views, 19,000 views, etc. I can go to videos. I can start seeing what's doing well from a title perspective and from a hook perspective. And then what I can begin to do is open up our marketing operating system and start adding content to this depending on the niche. Other thing that we can do is TikTok's Creative Center. I like to go to top ads, and what we can do is we can go to industries. So let's just say we are in business services and professional consultation. What we can do is last 180 days. Which ads are working really well. And what I'm going to look for is the CTR, which is click-through rate, top 37%. What is he saying in here? That's sticking. So different formats, different types of content. How can we emulate this just like what we did with YouTube? The other thing that we want to think about is, we could research, but what we need to realize when we're researching is that the hook, which is the first 3 seconds of the video, is the most important. People are doing this when it comes to short form content. So what we need to do is we need to stop them in their track. We want to get them to watch the first 3 seconds of the video so that they can then watch the whole thing and get bought into the video. What I also like to do is I like to use ChatGPT. So if I'm going to go to ChatGPT, I can simply type in this prompt, which is, I help content agencies, leads, and systems so they don't burn out under 20 days. Give me 10 polarizing hook ideas for content. So what you could do is you could just type this in for your niche, for your piece of content, and what's going to do is generate a lot of different pieces of content. And where we stack that is simply in our OS. So if I go to GPT, I can simply copy this over, go to our OS, and paste it in there. I'm going to create the reference video if I have the reference video, or I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me with the hook ideas. Next is the scripting. Same thing with short form as long form. Scripting is king. What we don't want to do is we don't want to like ramble in a video. Hey, my name's Austin. Today I'm going to talk about 3 things that you can do. No, swipe next. Okay. Again, we have 3 seconds to capture their attention. People are doing this. What's actually going to work and get them to watch your video and be bought in and actually trust you is what you're actually saying in the video. What we can do is we can go to trusty old ChatGPT, and I like the same framework that we use for long form. We just shorten it a little bit. So if I go to ChatGPT, I can say, using these hooks, write me an 80-word script using the framework hook, situation, problem, and then teach them. So let's just say content agencies. Boom. Here's a starting point. Okay. You could copy and paste this and you could use this whole script, or you could use this as a guide to make it your own. That's what we can do with each hook. Literally all we need to do is take the hook and then give them the hook and then say, write me an 80-word script, and then it'll give you a guide. And then what you can do is you can simply copy this over, go to your OS. You can just simply paste the script. And now you have a system with all of your hooks and all of your scripts so that you're prepared and you're not wasting a bunch of time coming up with the scripting or coming up with the topic ideas. Next thing, similar points as long form content is the filming. The keys to filming is conviction. If we look at any video, what we notice is that their conviction is always extremely high. If you scroll on any social media content of somebody talking and creating content that's educational or short form content, what you're going to notice is the videos that do well are the videos of the people that are highly convicted. And again, like if you're not used to content creation, it's going to take some time to get used to this because it does feel really awkward. But the more convicted that you are in what you're saying, the more the recipient of that video is going to believe you. Maybe you do believe it. Maybe you are super convicted, but you're just having a hard time communicating it. That's just going to take practice. So you can do chunks at a time. If I pull up the script that we just created, I could film this in a section. I could pause, look at my script, film the next line, pause, look at my script, film the next line. Because what we can do in editing is we can tie everything together. And again, focus on lighting and audio. video, which will be important. So after we've got dialed in topics, our scripts are dialed in, we've filmed the videos, next is the editing. Old way of editing. Cool, I'm just gonna slap up this video. I'm gonna use really hard to use apps that I have to use for my phone, and my phone's gonna burn up and like just not going to be very efficient and oftentimes inaccurate. Because the problem is, like, if you're continuing to do an old way of editing where it's like, oh, I need to hire an editor, I need to use all these technical tools, I need to learn how to use all these technical tools. These technical tools are really expensive. You're gonna have a hard time scaling when it comes to the short form content. 2024 now, there's AI tools out there like Submagic that make this so easy to do. And it's accurate and it's efficient and it's a game changer when it comes to editing content at scale. The most important part of the video isn't necessarily the edit and how fancy it can be. The most important part of the video is what you're communicating, what we just went over, the scripts, the topics, the hooks, how you're convicted in the video, and the editing just ties everything together. Over 1.4 million people are already using Submagic, and they export over 8,000 videos every single day. So it is for sure a game changer when it comes to creating content. So if I open up Submagic, I can again go to trimming my video. So I can simply find the dead spaces inside of the video. I can split the clips. I can remove any part that I'm not speaking. I can figure out what's actually not being said. Let's just move that back a little bit. All the dead spaces are removed. Then I go to edit the video, and then I can pick my captions. So if I wanted Hormozi style captions, if I can go to captions, I can edit any of the captions. I can add different emojis if I wanted to. If I wanted to make it bigger, if I wanted to, I could add a hook, and I could just simply say something. I could regenerate. I could have AI create a hook for me, or I could simply paste the hook that we developed in the planning. I can also add in my logo and branding if I wanted to. I can add in some music if I wanted to, just to make it as simple as possible and as efficient as possible. And this is taking me less than 3 minutes to make this video. So it's an absolute game changer when it comes to getting a high volume of videos out there. Because if I have the scripts, I have the topics, everything that I need in order to succeed, this is actually not the most time consuming part of the video. This is actually the most efficient part of the video. All I have to do is just click on export, and I can export the video in 4K, and it is then ready to post. After we've edited the videos, it becomes posting the content, and just like from a content perspective, aim for 3 to 5 times per week across platforms most relevant to your target audience. Like if your audience is heavily on Instagram, cool, great content specifically for Instagram. If your content is heavily on LinkedIn, do your research on LinkedIn, figure out what's working from that perspective, and then rinse and repeat. All right, guys, and that is everything that you need to know about content marketing. And if you're interested in using Submagic, go ahead and click the link down below in the description. Going viral with short form content can be a huge boost in your business, but it may not be as straightforward as it seems. Go ahead and click the video right here to learn my foolproof system for creating viral short form content. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.